Today, we're diving into one of history's eeriest relics, a simple iron chair, yet its purpose was anything but ordinary. At first glance, it might seem like an uncomfortable seat, but this wasn't a chair for resting. Known as the Tramp Chair, it was crafted with a brutal purpose: to punish, to humiliate, and to display power over those who society deemed unworthy. So, what exactly was the Tramp Chair, and how did it work? Imagine a cold, iron chair with straps for your arms and legs, and sometimes even spikes built into the seat or backrest. The purpose? To make it as unbearable as possible. This wasn't a place to rest. It was a place to be restrained, shamed, and left in plain view for all to see. Back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, tramp chairs were a common sight in small towns across the United States. During this period, towns had a narrow view of who belonged. If you didn't have a steady job, a place to live, or just didn't fit in, you could be seen as a tramp or a vagrant. These terms weren't just labels, they were judgments. In many towns, being a tramp was enough to have you hauled into this chair as a public display of punishment. Authorities used tramp chairs as a warning. The message was clear. If you didn't conform, if you couldn't keep up, or if you simply didn't look like you belonged, you'd find yourself strapped into this chair, right in the center of town. And it wasn't tucked away in a corner. No, it was placed where everyone could see you. Kids, families, merchants, everyone. You were on display for the entire community, as though you were less than human. But who were these tramps, really? For many, they were just people trying to survive. Many were laborers traveling from town to town, looking for work, or down on their luck folks trying to get back on their feet. Some were victims of circumstance, others had simply fallen on hard times. But back then, there was little tolerance for poverty. If you couldn't pull yourself up, you were seen as a threat, a blemish on the town's image. The tramp chair wasn't just uncomfortable, it was often painful. Some versions were fitted with spikes on the seat or backrest, making it impossible to move without feeling the metal dig into your skin. The more you struggled, the more it hurt. And if that wasn't enough, some towns kept people strapped in for hours, sometimes even days, letting the discomfort become agony. You might wonder, why would towns go to such extremes? Well, at the time, society viewed poverty as a moral failing, not a social issue. Tramps were thought to lack character, discipline, or a willingness to work. The tramp chair was a way for towns to declare, "We don't tolerate weakness or misfortune here." In their eyes, this chair would scare off others and keep the town clean. But the tramp chair was part of a bigger picture. During this time, vagrancy laws were harsh. In some states, simply being homeless or without a job was enough to get you arrested. You didn't need to commit a crime. Just existing without stability was enough. And once you were labeled a tramp, the stigma was hard to shake. It marked you, even if you were just passing through. This chair sits silently now, rusted and abandoned. But it holds a message for us, that everyone, no matter how overlooked, deserves dignity. As we look back at this chair, maybe it's a reminder not to turn our backs on those in need, not to forget the humanity in every person who crosses our path. History reminds us to look closer, to see the person, not just the label. Thank you for your time and attention. See you in the next one.